Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ege and today we're going to be starting a new reading vlog. So I have authors on my shelf that I have like 1 or 2 to 3 of their books and I haven't read any of these authors' work before, maybe based on Bookstagram, booktube recommendations or my friends' recommendations, and they just say, oh, they read these authors' books and they love them. I buy their books. I'm starting a series where I read those books on my shelf. So yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, so I have these books but I've never read anything from these authors before, and so I'm starting a series where I'm going to be reading these books that I already own and seeing if I enjoy them. So we're going to be kicking off the series with Nicole Dennis Benn. I keep saying Nicole Dennis Benn, and Nicole Dennis Benn is like the author of what now this book called? The Sun is Also a Star. I don't know, I keep on mixing up their names. Anyway, we're kicking off the series with Nicole Dennis Benn, and I have Here Comes the Sun and Patsy. So I'm going to be reading these 2 books this week and like trying Nicole Dennis Benn for the first time and seeing if I love her, because I have her books. I believe these are the 2 books that this author has published. So I'm going to be reading these books and then deciding for myself if I love them. In that case, yay, that means I don't waste money. If I ended up not liking them, then bro, that means I'll just like get rid of them or something, you know. Anyway, we're going to start. Anyway, we're picking up with her debut work, which is Here Comes the Sun. I've actually already started. Like, I feel like I can say I'm 30% into the book already, and so far like it's kind of has a slow start. So I've been introduced to all the main characters. It follows this lady and her 2 daughters and just their life in Jamaica. Yeah, one of them, I think the eldest daughter, works at a hotel, and then the younger one is still in high school. I don't know what they call high school in Jamaica, so I'm just going to say high school, because in Nigeria we call it secondary school. I can't really think about I can't remember the English they use here, but yeah. And then also their mother, so it focuses on, like, I believe the mother-daughter relationships between these girls and their mother, and just like their life in Jamaica, I guess. I'll give you guys more this thing the more I get it. Like, maybe by the time I'm like 50% done, I'll come back and give you guys an update on my thoughts. But for now, yeah, so far so good. And I actually recommended this book to my friend recently, and he just finished them, like, I think yesterday, and he really loved them. So that's actually really encouraging me to read them now. So I'll be back, guys. So hi guys, so I'm here to give you an update. I finished Here Comes the Sun, and yeah, this book was, I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. The 0.5 is because I did not really like the beginning was kind of slow for me and I wasn't really feeling it, but once I got to the halfway mark, my god, I was just flying through this book. I really enjoyed it. I especially love the way this author writes her female characters. Like, the way she writes them in such a way where I don't always, like, they're not inherently good people, but they're also not bad people. They're just characters who are making decisions and choices based off of the cards they were dealt with by life, and I was living for it. Like, these women, the way they are written they just felt like real people, and the decisions they made, I not always necessarily agree with them, but I kind of always sympathized with them, or like saw where they were coming from and understood why they had to make certain choices, even if I did not agree with them. So I really, yeah, I think that's one thing I'll say about this author. I really like the way she writes her female characters. Aside from that, this book is about 2 sisters, Margot and Tandy, and it's about 2 sisters, Margot and Tandy, and they live in Montego Bay, Jamaica, and we basically just follow their life as there's a new resort that's about to be built in their town, and we kind of see how events unfold around this new resort that's about to be built, I guess. But what I liked about this book was that it kind of gave us like a behind the scene look on, I guess, Jamaica, because most people who think about Jamaica will think about it as a paradise, a place you go for holiday with a lot of water, beaches, resorts. You just go there, you relax, you have a good time. But we kind of see how these, I guess, tourism and these resorts that are being built, and like the way this place is shaped to be like this place is shaped to look like paradise. And we kind of see how this affects the citizens, how most of the times in order to build these resorts and in order to make the place look attractive to tourists, a lot of times the people living in these areas are being forced out of their homes, and they are not even given proper compensation. Most of the times they lose like their source of income and things like that in order to accommodate these big hotels and resorts, and just basically just the life of these people living in these areas, and how they kind of like adjust and prepare themselves for whatever it is going to happen when these places are being built up, and I guess the things they lose along the way. I don't know if that makes sense. So there's also conversations around colorism, and also the fetishization of Black women, and there's also like a really good dose of homophobia in this book. A lot of things is happening in this book. This book is very powerful in the sense that so much is happening, and then the characters in this book, they are just being thrown into situations that technically out of their control, and you just see how there's just so much odds against them, but they just always find a way to, you know, prevail and thrive despite the very hectic environment in which they find themselves in. Like, the characters in this book were just so unforgettable to me. So I know this book is something I will remember for a long time, because the characters they will stay with me for a long time. Hopefully by the time this video is up, I would have posted a review of this book on my Instagram. So this is a sign for you to follow me on Insta. I'll leave a link. There's always a link to my Instagram in the description box, but yeah, follow me on Instagram, guys. My review of this book will be there. So now that I'm through with Here Comes the Sun, I plan to start Patsy. So yeah, I've actually already started Patsy. Like, as you can see, I'm like almost halfway through the book, and I'm really enjoying this one. Also, like, I think I've said this before, but I love the way this woman writes her female characters. Like, they're very complex. Like, you can't really put them in good or bad. Below, this is a bad woman, or this is a good woman. Although there are some characters that there's no redemptions for them, but most of the time we just have women being thrust into like, they're just being put into positions, and they're just like doing the best that they can in this situation, and this book is no exception. So this book is basically follows Patsy, who kind of abandons her daughter in Jamaica and moves to America for like greener pastures for herself. And yeah, also follows her daughter True, who kind of tries to deal with the fact that her mother abandons her, and just kind of see how True grows. So yeah, this book carries, like, in this book, Patsy moved to America because she has certain expectations. She's thinking, oh, when she gets to America, things will be easier for her. She'll be able to make money. Like, all her struggles in Jamaica, everything that she's doing and she's still not earning enough, everything will be solved. All her problems are going to be solved once she gets to America. She'll get to America. She's going to go to America, and things will become easier. She'll make a lot of money. She can send back money to her daughter. So she kind of like justifies the whole moving to America for greener pastures, because in Jamaica she's thrust into this role of being a mother, and that's something that she doesn't want. She never wanted to be a mother, but alas, she has a child, so she's a mother. So America for her is like her escape from the life she doesn't want. But upon arriving in America, she discovers that the America in her head and the America she's being presented with are two completely different things on two different planes. So there's also talk about like the immigrant experience, and there's motherhood to also contend with, and also colorism. This author likes to talk about colorism a lot. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I honestly think that with the way things are going, I'll be done with this book by tomorrow, which means hopefully we'll be wrapping up this vlog soon. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'll come back when I have more to say. Hi guys, so I'm back and I'm here to wrap up this vlog. So I finished reading Patsy. I finished like weeks ago. I just did not come here to wrap up the vlog. But yeah, I finished Patsy. I love this book so much. This is one of my favorite books this year, and I ended up giving this 5 stars. Loved everything about this story. It's so good and so powerful, and I highly recommend. Honestly, read any of the 2 books. I highly recommend. Pick up Nicole Dennis Benn, guys. Why do I keep saying that name? Nicole Dennis Benn. Pick up any of her books. Guaranteed 4 to 5 star read. So for Patsy, I don't know. I feel like I can't really remember what I've talked about so far in this book. But let me just give like my final thoughts for Patsy. I really enjoyed Patsy. I love the conversations around motherhood and how, especially in Patsy's case, there are women who are forced into motherhood, like in Patsy's case, who don't necessarily want children, or maybe they are not prepared for children, and then this expectation, this responsibility is thrust upon them. And this book mainly follows Patsy trying to find herself outside of this identity that was put upon her. She's trying to like figure out herself outside of being a mother, and this book is mostly about self-discovery and, you know, doing what's best for you despite what other people around you are going to say. Really felt bad for Patsy, because at the end of the day, motherhood was never something Patsy wanted for herself. It was something that was forced upon her, and I guess I was just really rooting for her throughout her journey, like trying to discover herself and learn to love herself and accept herself. I was just completely rooting for Patsy, even though the fact that at the end of the day, I think one thing I'll say is that at the end of the day, women shouldn't be forced to have children. Like, you shouldn't force people into things like motherhood or parenthood, because this, I feel like parenthood, motherhood should be a thing of choice. It shouldn't be something people should be forced into, because at the end of the day, the people who are going to suffer aside the mother are the children. Like, the children that these people are forced to have are the ones that are going to like suffer at the end of the day. Because now Patsy was forced to have this responsibility that she didn't want, and then at the end of the day, she decides to pick herself and like try and find herself, and which led to her abandonment of her child. And yeah, at the end of the day, it ends up like True ends up like having to have like abandonment issues and so many, I guess, like she had attachment issues, abandonment issues, and she couldn't for a long time couldn't love herself because of she was dealing with the fact that her mother abandoned her. So at the end of the day, people shouldn't be forced into decisions like this, because taking care of children are a big responsibility, and I feel like decisions like that, decisions like having children, are things that people should go in like ready. It's not something that should be forced upon them, or they feel like they have to do. It has to be something that you decide on your own to do. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I made sense. The book also like talks about like the immigrant experience, which for me now as a Nigerian, and like for me currently now, I'm a Nigerian living in Nigeria, and in Nigeria there's this thing called the Japa wave, which is where a lot of Nigerians are just trying to leave the country to find like better life, better jobs, just better life in general. That's what we call Japa here. And it's something that I guess the whole idea, there's this romanticization of living abroad, like in our movies, in media, like anywhere you go, you always see like there's this certain romanticization that comes with living abroad, like, oh, everything is better there. Like once you just move abroad, once you leave Nigeria, things will get better. You just start making money, life will be easier, all your problems you had in Nigeria will just automatically disappear. That's like one of the mentalities that I know a lot of Nigerians, myself included, have. So it was kind of nice to see in this book how Patsy also kind of had similar ideas about America, and how she just felt like during the, I think the first part of this book, she just felt like once she left Nigeria, as far as I say Nigeria, once she left Jamaica, her problems would disappear, everything would be rosy, all the issues and problems she was having in Jamaica, America, everything, she would drop it at the doorstep, at the border, as she's crossing into America, they are not following her there. You know, she just had a lot of ideas of what she felt was going to happen to her when she moved to America. And immediately she got there, her perception of America, everything she thought America was going to be for her, was shattered. And she discovered that what she had in her head and what America actually was were two different things. And it was just interesting to read about her immigrant experience. So I really also enjoyed that aspect of this book. Let's do a little bit of, not necessarily compare and compare, not necessarily like I'm comparing the two books, but like these similarities I noticed, like things I noticed in her the author's writing. So I feel like this author, Miss Nicole, she does complex female characters very well. Like, I enjoy reading her characters, even when these characters are not necessarily good people in this, like, they're not really good. Let me put the book down. Like, her characters are not necessarily good or bad people. They're just people who have been, like, they're just people like trying to make the best out of life based on the situations they find themselves in. And I just enjoy the way she writes her characters, even when they make questionable decisions, sometimes horrible decisions. I kind of see where they are coming from, and I don't necessarily judge them. Most of the time I feel bad for them, and I kind of like understand their position in life. So I enjoy the way she writes her character. She doesn't write it in a one-sided way where it's very obvious that she's writing this person as a bad person and she's judging them. She just writes them and they feel like people making choices. I don't know if I'm making sense, but like they feel human, and they are flawed, and they feel very human and realistic, and their choices, regardless of how I perceive those choices to be, they feel like realistic choices that people could actually make. So I really enjoy the way she writes her characters. Another thing I noticed mostly in Here Comes the Sun was that she writes a lot about, like, she writes a lot about colorism. Not even just in Here Comes the Sun, it also shows in Patsy. She writes a lot about colorism, and also like the sexualization of, or fetishization of Black women, especially minors. Like, there's a lot of sexual assaults for minors in this book, and especially girl children. And it's honestly very heartbreaking and sad to see, because I won't say that, oh, this is because this author writes about Jamaican characters. I would just say that, oh, this is something that only happens in Jamaica. It's a worldwide occurrence, and it's very heartbreaking to see, because even in Nigeria here, we have a lot of times where children are assaulted, and there are no proper laws, there are no proper authorities. Even the authorities are part of the problem sometimes, but like, there's nothing that is being done to protect these children from these pedophiles that are committing these acts to them. So it's honestly very heartbreaking to see, and I was kind of really sad about it, like just reading across both books when I saw these things come up. But you know, it is what it is, and it was just very sad. But she really, I won't say she enjoys writing about these things, but I just noticed that these are topics that she I guess, for lack of better word, I'm just going to say enjoy, but I just want to say like that these are topics that I have noticed that she enjoys talking about in her books. But yeah, apart from that, I think the only thing I noticed was that I feel like I saw her growth, like her growth as a writer, a lot in Patsy. Because in Here Comes the Sun, I wouldn't necessarily say that I had complaints, but sometimes there were just some aspects that I still had questions. Like, I was still like somewhat unsatisfied. But this one was like the ending, the writing, the pacing, the characters, everything was just 10 over 10. No complaints, no, you know, honestly, I just love this book. I don't think I have any big complaints. So I can really see her growth as a writer, and I am honestly I am excited for her next work. I don't know when her next book is coming out, but I am excited and I cannot wait. Because frankly, this woman can write ABC on a book and they do jaga jaga in the book and just put a cover, put her name there. I will buy it, read it, and give it 5 stars. That's like my conclusion at this point. Anything she writes, I read, and I know I will definitely love. End of story. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, this vlog. Thank you. If you've read any of this book, please let me know what your thoughts. If you've watched this vlog and you kind of feel like reading these books now, feel free to let me know also. But I'll see you in my next one. Bye.